Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Grubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi guys, it's Stacy Barnett and welcome to the Canine Detection Collaborative. And we are here with a really fabulous and special guest tonight. Welcome, Joyce.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be
It's
here.
okay. It's okay. It's a whole little pregnant pause there. So we're here with Joyce, and Liz is just an amazing personal trainer, and we're going to get more into her background in a few minutes. And also chatting with Liz is Crystal Wing.
Hello, friends.
So we're here to talk all about handler fitness. It's the coolest topic. So Liz, I just basically said, hey, she's a personal trainer and a canine handler fitness expert. And, she's helping me. I still have a long way to go. You have a big challenge on your hands with me. So, and I know I'm already feeling way better. So Liz, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, kind of, how you got into this, that sort of thing. It's just a really fascinating topic that some of us may not even know is important.
I agree. And I'm really excited to talk about this too. Okay, so my background, I'll start there. I have competed at quite a high level in a number of sports. I wrestled and competed provincially and nationally. I placed first provincially around a dozen times, and nationally I placed in the top 5. I also have done the sport of powerlifting, where I competed at a national and international level. And in Canada, I won gold 5 times and set a Canadian record for squats.
Wow.
And that was a lot. I was kind of a little reckless with my body at that age. I don't know that I would put that much on me now, but
oh my gosh. And
I also won an international competition in that sport. And
okay, I have to know what is the squat record that you had?
Well, of course I do. I weighed 128 pounds and my squat was 276, which is pretty significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that was actually a really fun sport. And both of those sports have transferred really well to handling in terms of mechanics and body control. And I also did, a number of other, synchronized swimming and soccer and basketball, and mid-distance running is a love sport of mine too. And I got into that in my mid-20s. I haven't won any medals or done any placements in that sport, but
it's huge.
I do love it. The pool is huge. Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait until you're 80 and then win all the golds. The pool gets smaller.
I like your style.
Powerlifting, is that a single lift, or what is?
The federation I was in, we did bench press and deadlifts and squats. And the thing is you go out, you have a weight, and then you have to do it once. If you fail, you can't decrease the weight. So you have to kind of aim, a little low, and then you can increase, but you get, in that federation, we had 3 lifts. So we had 3 tries per lift. So yeah, it was a pretty intense sport, but
how much were you lifting?
Yeah, well, my heaviest in competition, out of competition, my squats had been heavier than that, but in competition, my heaviest was 276, and my heaviest deadlift was 286.
Whoa!
My bench press, I know, it's crazy.
Whoa!
My bench press never was that great, but I think my most in competition was around my body weight, which is really not, terrible for a woman, but it's not, not amazing.
No, mental note, I'm don't mess with Liz. Mental note.
Yeah. Just don't do it. Just don't.
Just don't do it. Just don't. And next time she tells me, you need to make sure you do your exercises today, I'll be, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Respect.
Yeah, total.
So, I love, movement and exercise, and I'm kind of, wired for that. But I have been training clients since 2006. full-time, part-time before that as well. And I've been working with dog handlers since 2016, which is like 1 year after I got my first, German Shepherd, Hazel. And I didn't know that dog sport was a thing. Then I got her and was watching videos of her parents and thinking, wow, this is crazy. But, if they can do it, I mean, they're her parents. She could probably do that. So I was super intrigued by all the aspects of training and handling. And her parents do Schutzen or IGP now. So there was like that sport I was watching a lot. So her and I got into a lot of training. We never did compete, and she has passed now. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got into handling. And she was only 65 pounds, and she was extremely torquey. And I was really, really fit when I got her, like extremely strong and fit. And I thought I was prepared for all the things, but I actually was prepared for all of the challenges that I would come up against doing a workout but I was not prepared for the dynamic stuff that was happening with my dog pulling on me and tugging. And she was young and leash pulling. And so I had to audit and take a look at what I was doing in the gym, because it was serving me for, flashy, complex exercises, but was not serving me in terms of keeping my body safe when I was with my dog, which was getting more and more important to me. So I refined that process and have been helping people since then.
Wow. Well, because I mean, you've helped people like, in a lot of different sports, right? Yeah. I mean, I know you work a lot with a lot of agility folks and, and bite sport folks. And yeah, that's amazing.
And I want to hit on the part where you said that you were wired for this. And I love that expression. I feel like people can really relate to that. So I feel like I'm wired for protection sports. I know Stacy's wired for detection, Robin as well. And I used to feel like I was wired for activity, and that has waned over the last couple of years, but kind of since pandemic time. And it's been fascinating to me that I never thought I would have to actively make time or think about exercising, because it was just part of who I was. And so to speak to that motivation piece, because I think maybe I'm not the only one out there.
No.
So how do you help people become more wired to be physically fit?
The motivation piece is tricky, and it's complex. And it's interesting to talk with dog handlers versus people that are in kind of a general population. And the question really is like, what does the learner find motivating in the situation? And also, what's a negative thing that's coming in? So for you, I know that you have some injuries that when you work out now or you go to be active, they're sore. So in this situation, you are not alone. And dog handlers as a whole are definitely the population of people that I've worked with that have the most chronic injuries, and also the least amount of time. So those things make it hard to make a lot of ground on injuries and like get to a place where it's feeling productive. I think that's a hang up for a lot of people. So,
that's a great point, because you're right. It's full-time job, and then dogs become the second full-time job.
It's full-time job.
It does take away. And then if people had families and kids, well, there's another full-time job. Yeah. What a great point.
I was just going to talk about like the whole, like, I'm just kind of reflecting on my own, and we've talked a lot about it, and just my frustration with just kind of what's going on with my back right now. It's like, it's really kind of like I want to do more, and I get frustrated because my back is like, nope, not today. And it's just like that, the desire can be there, but then it's just puts this damper on it, because it's just like, oh God, it hurts, or it's just, or if I'm feeling really good and I'm like, oh, let's do it. And then the next day I'm like, oh,
overdid it.
Maybe that's just too much.
Yeah.
Well, Stacy, you and I we are going to work through this thing you've got going on. So you are going to be golden. So you don't need to worry about that. We're going to take care of that.
And I promise after we're done with the podcast, I'm getting I'm going to go do my exercises. I promise.
Okay, that's good because I'm going to check my app.
I know you will.
I'm going to check up on you, girl.
I know you will.
On you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get a ping. How was it? How's your back? Any pain?
You got your accountability buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But my thoughts for that too, like for you, Crystal, is that, a lot of people learn how to care for their bodies when they're younger, when they're in their teens and playing sports and learn how to lift weights and whatever physical fitness is reinforcing and worse for people. They learn most of the time to do that when they're young and uninjured. And the issue when people get injured, and especially if they have a chronic injury, like, torn cartilage, or, you and I both have torn labrums in our hips. Like that is painful. That sucks. It's hard to work around. And
mine's actually shoulder.
Oh, it's your shoulder? Oh.
Yeah. Labrum in the front and then rotator cuff in the back on the same arm. Ugh. Yeah.
My thought on that, though, when I was thinking about you in particular, was perhaps it would be more motivating and exciting for you if your workout was more tailored towards what you need in this body you're living in now, so that when you're working out, it doesn't hurt. And I think that would be helpful. And I also think if you had a more targeted approach to working on like a whole kind of comprehensive, not a huge time commitment plan, but a well thought out plan in terms of you're building better mobility. Where are you rolling? Should you be rolling now or later? What kinds of exercises are appropriate for you, and when should they be phased in, so that when you're working through your routine, it's motivating in the way that you will see gains, rather than revisiting something that is familiar but maybe isn't serving you so well right now. That is going to feel like you're butting your head up against a wall. That was my very truthful line of thought when I was thinking about you asking me, about motivation, and it's hard when you're injured.
I love that too, because you said, we learn from our history, and playing so many ball sports and team sports, I gave those things up when I got Lyme disease and thought that I wouldn't be able to compete or do sports again. And then somehow got into bite sports and ended up being a decoy, which is even harder on my body. So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
That a good choice.
But, I loved rock climbing, just bouldering inside. And so those are all things that I feel like I can't do anymore. And so I think what you said also kind of hits the head on the nail of that longing for the things that you can't do anymore. And now having to realize the body you have now and being and embracing that new body, that new physical, and enjoying what you can with what you have. Because I know I only have a couple of years of decoy left. And that's why I keep feeling so stressed about I need to get another bitey dog. So I think with aging too, there's so much with that motivation. So all of us at different ages and different stages, because man, I never thought that I'd feel this way.
That's the adventure of life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That happens. That happens. And, that's like part of finding motivation too for people when they're like, for you, if you love bouldering and that's not possible for you.
Yeah.
On a side note, like what about that, if you could think about what about that was so exhilarating or satisfying or whatever words you want to use about that. And how could you capture some of those emotions in other activities? Like, perhaps you could,
I get it in bite sports.
You get it in bite sports. So there you go.
Yeah. It's just, you have to there's few things I found in my life that keep you so much in the moment. But when you're trying to hang on to a wall and not fall off, you can't think about anything else, any of the problems or the parents that are mad at school or anything like that. You're just thinking about, hold on, hold please.
You also can't think about other things when there's a dog running at you, coming to bite you.
Exactly. So that's why I'm really hoping to stay strong for that. And I think that's the main motivation I have is for my dogs. And I think that's what a lot of my friends can relate to as well, because Robin and I are like the only two athlete friends that I know. And so my other friends have never been in team sports or competed. And so it's been even the mental game of trying to help, coach my other friends. So it's interesting how each person needs different mental coaching based on if they've been a coach, if they've been a player, or they've been neither of those. And there's such a huge mental game. And even as a referee, like I learned so much there of seeing all sides of it. So it's when they say cross training the dog, I also think cross training the human is a great way to help.
Yeah, totally. I totally, I just totally agree with you. Yeah. And, I was going to actually ask you that question in terms of motivation, and people that have dogs that I work with, their motivation almost all of the time is dog first, then them is second. And so for people that have dogs that are thinking about as they're, aging, and maybe they're in their late 40s or mid 50s and they're thinking ahead to their next dog. Like, how old is Crystal, how old is your youngest dog?
Well, I'm 44 and my youngest dog is Radish, and she's going to turn 2. Oh no, I guess by the time this airs, she will have just turned 2 on Monday, and this airs on Tuesday. So she'll be 2 years old in one day. And then my oldest boy is Yukon, and he's 6.
And he's 6.
Yeah. And Checkmate's 5.
And it's kind of dogs live, hopefully, as long as your wonderful dog, 13. Yeah. But then you think what's your next dog going to be? Are you planning ahead already? And what kinds of things are you going to want to do with that dog? And because dogs are, unfortunately, a shorter kind of time frame of time that we have with them, your dog Radish is 2, when you're 50, she'll be 8, and you'll probably have a new dog. And what kinds of things are you going to want to do with that dog? And also, if the motivation for caring for your dog and having, that whole, well, we all know working dogs require a special amount of care. What kind of things are you going to want to do with them? And also, if you're not able to do that stuff with them as well as you can, how are you going to feel about that?
Well, I mean, I even look at Stacy with her line handling, and I mean, how much that takes. And so we get to watch your webinar, which is fantastic. You did such a great job of showing all of the reasons to do it and how to do it and how to get fit. But I love how you talked about mobility and strength. It was so good. Yeah. So highly recommend anything Liz puts out. Make sure you do it. You sign up for it. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for your nice comments about my webinar. I put a lot of effort into it, and Crystal and Stacy, both of you were invaluable in giving feedback and ideas about how I can make it a more robust presentation. And when this airs, it will already be done. So unfortunately, people won't be able to watch it, but I do have a workshop coming up with FDSA in April that's going to be all about core and glutes and building foundations for people, which is such a really wonderful place to start if people really are feeling like they don't know where to start. That is coming up with FDSA in April. And I also open all of my courses for registration from March 1st to 15th. So if people want to dig into that, they can also do that there too.
And where would they find your courses?
On my website, it is this super original name. I named my business caninehandlerfitness.com.
I love it. To the point.
That's awesome. That's easy to find.
I was like, listen, if people are not going to need to look me up.
I mean, Canine Detection Collaborative,
Yeah. But no, that's so caninehandlerfitness.com.
Yep. The words are all spelled out. I also have this really awesome free resource for people that's all stretching and mobility building, and it has a webinar, and they get all the stuff on my app too. So, if people are finding that they want help with mobility and don't know really where to start, that also, and it's free, is available for them there too.
That's amazing.
Nice. And you have so many free resources, because that's how we first met, was on the Finzi alumni group. And you had asked like a group question, and I think I answered with something, and then you messaged me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you were so giving. You were like, here's a stretch and here's a stretch. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, like, holy cow. Talk about collaborative. I mean, that's just, it's so impressive how passionate you are about helping us get better for our dogs and better for ourselves. I am curious. So I've always heard that through motivation, you can't wait for motivation to happen. They always say that you have to be active. And once you start the action, then that creates the motivation. And thinking about that, if our motivation is doing things for our dogs, it still gets us moving. So it's not that it's bad that we have dogs as our motivation instead of ourselves, right? What do you think about that?
Hey, listen, whatever's going to get you out of bed and get you taking care of yourself, I don't care what it is. I think it's great. And I think having something that's constant, that is, like a dog, ready to go, you always have stuff. It's every single day right there and motivating in a way that's outside of you, I think is awesome. And I also want to say that I've seen people get more motivated the more results they see with their picking at, taking care of their body this way. So, if people are feeling stuck and maybe the dog isn't enough motivation, finding a way to really just sink into it, which is why I love those freeze stretches, because they're 2 full months and people really genuinely feel so much better with stretching that that in and of itself, they feel more comfortable, confident, they've built some habits. Okay, you know what? I can do this for 2 months and I'm just stretching. It's 4 minutes a day and it doesn't seem like a lot, but look at the results I'm getting. Okay, well, you know what? I think I could add something else and maybe what would that look like? And it does build from there. And I see that happen all the time, which is so beautiful.
Even dog sports, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't been working very long together, but I already see a difference in my flexibility. I don't know if you remember this, we did this T-spine stretch, right? And trying to get my arm.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, my arm across it would be hovering 8-10 inches above the ground or something. Now I can lay all the way on the ground. It's this huge difference in just a month of just the flexibility. And I know from working with you that, I mean, you kind of started me off kind of very easy, and getting that habit was huge. It's just getting that habit and just something that's not hard, that it's not you don't feel like it's hitting you over the head. Oh my God, I gotta go do this thing.
All right, Stacy, so share it. What's your habit? How did you do it?
I have Liz.
Yeah, tell us.
I have Liz.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what time do you do it? Or
you're at home alone. You do it at home.
Did you habit stack, or what did you do?
No. I just, honestly, it was just the little pieces, right? It was because what I want to do is I want to feel better. I have a lot of back pain, but I want to be able to, and it's so frustrating to try to run agility with Brava and not be able to get into the right position to cue her. And then she turns around and she gives me immediate feedback through her mouth, right?
Yeah.
Not Liz. Brava does. Not Liz. Brava does. Brava
I can
yells
yell
at
too.
me. Yeah, but if you're yelling at your app and I don't hear it. So all I get is positive reinforcement and it actually feels really good. You may be yelling. I'm just not experiencing it, so it doesn't count. But it's really but Brava does yell at me if I do something wrong. And it was so frustrating because I just couldn't get my legs to swing enough to get to the point, or trying to trial all weekend and feeling like I was just hurting so bad by the end of the weekend that I couldn't run my dog. And I'm sitting here going, I'm 48 years old and looking ahead, hopefully I've got a lot more years left. And if I'm like this now, and I love these high drive Labradors, what am I going to do? I've got these young high drive Labs, and I'm of course I'm always thinking, ooh, the next one, right? And, I'm looking at reality going, I got to do something about this, right? And so, and starting to work with Liz, it was just these little tiny pieces that all of a sudden I started to feel a little bit better. I had a little bit of issue just recently, just because I had a little bit of a setback with my back, but I'm looking forward to just getting back into it again. And I think just doing that little tiny piece, every day, that wasn't huge, and having a certain, for me, I end up exercising at the end of the night, which I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but that's what I do.
Anytime you fit it in is a good time.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, that's good. That's how I created the habit. Honestly, it's just that. It's just that feedback of feeling better. And I'm already seeing when I go to work with her that I'm feeling. I took my dogs for a 2-mile walk around the 15-acre field, feeling great at the end. The last time before I started doing all this stuff, and I just took a walk along a canal with my best friend, I hurt for like the day after. It was my back just trying to move along the canal. And now I'm able to, do laps around this big field with all these hills and everything. And
it makes me happy.
That's awesome.
It's huge. So anyway, that's how I create my habit.
I've noticed that I try to habit stack. I know in the morning, I'm so last minute morning. There's just nothing I can add in. Yeah. And I think it was Liz that mentioned in the webinar, I hope I'm not giving away too much, about when you're brushing your teeth. And it was to kind of do a squat on one leg kind of thing and move your leg back and forth or something. Am I kind of close?
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of toe tap around the clock.
Yeah, so I'm totally doing that. And then when I'm cooking, I have one of those giant round balance discs for the dogs. And so I have a really tight little space in my kitchen where I put it right in the corner. And so I rotate for the stove and then I rotate for like cutting and getting stuff. And so I'm balancing on that as I'm doing it. And so that's 30 minutes on a balance disc. And so sometimes I go one leg, then the other leg, and so I'm trying to kind of figure out ways to kind of put it in. And when I'm grading, I put a board across the treadmill. And so now I'm, on my canvas, grading my stuff, walking on the treadmill very slowly, and the dog's walking on the treadmill next to me, so those are little ways to kind of build things in. But just trying to kind of figure out that habit stacking idea. It's just, I'm always curious how other people do it.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned mobility and strength. And if you were to only focus on one of those to start, it sounds like maybe you would say mobility is the way to start. Or am I way off?
Unless someone's like hyper mobile, like hands down, mobility is my favorite place to start people. Yeah, because like Stacy's saying, now she's building a really great habit. And, Stacy, this is your third workout, I think. So we've only been at this for a month, and your first 2 weeks was all about building foundations. So you've really had like one real workout. So you've only done that workout like 6 times. So
is that it?
That's incredible that you're able to do all of that with that. And
is that it?
Well, the other ones were kind of foundation. So, you've had like, you've been doing.
But the app says I did 50 workouts. I don't know what you're talking about. I got a badge.
I'll give you a real badge. It's your the stretching counts too. But you're building that habit. Like your stretches were like 3 or 4 minutes, and that makes such a big difference for people. But mobility is definitely my favorite place to start people because it's so reinforcing for them, and it really does lead to building better habits, or not even better habits, but building a self-care habit in this form. And I love it for that. And it's like inserts itself, and it's not invasive. It's not effortful, and it builds confidence for people, and it sets them up to being able to strength train with good form and be able to handle their dogs a lot more comfortably, especially people with big high drive dogs doing tugging and stuff. Like that's hard on us. And having better mobility helps your shoulders and your back and your legs and your knees and your ankles and everything just have more movement before injuries happen. So yeah, I love starting people with mobility. I think it's a really good place to start.
And I love that you just covered so many whys. Yeah. Like, why do we need to do this? You just put a whole list right there. I was like, oh, can you say all those things again? Because it was so good.
we're just going to have to put rewind. We're going to listen to it and rewind.
I'm telling you, like, I think maybe we can get Zach to go, okay, do that again.
Or repeat.
Because those whys, I think sometimes are what's going to help motivate people too. Because when you said some of those, I'm like, yeah. And I keep thinking back to earlier, about the body you're in now and appreciating that and finding what can give you the highs that you need. And so you got me thinking a lot right now and kind of sometimes maybe I need that extra why to get through that little bit of discomfort and to keep working. It was such a big moment driving back from Iowa with my friend Nancy. And, I was complaining about because I have Lyme disease and cartilage tears and blah, blah, blah from just having fun in this body and this life. And the big realization that we hit that she was so good and helped me realize was when you work out, it is about being aware of your body and going to the muscles that you need. And I spend so much time trying to block out the pain and the different, ailments of the body that then the workout becomes very punishing. And so it really did give me a lot of kind of, I don't know, grace for myself to go, okay, you know what? It does kind of suck to work out these days. So, I appreciate that you said it's more about being aware of what you can do and building success in that. And I'm really going to take that home. I really appreciate that.
That's good. That's really good. I talk a lot about self-compassion with my clients and with the lives that I do for my groups too. We talk about self-compassion through the way of, people have, maybe they've stumbled and they've hurt their ankle and they can't work out so hard, or maybe they're having a hard day. Like there's a lot of big feelings that come up with bodies. So when things like that come up too, it's like you're saying, being appreciative and giving yourself grace and being kind to yourself. I think emotions are a big sticking point for people sometimes too when they're considering getting started. It's physically hard and also can be emotionally hard. So I love that you said that.
I mean, I look at my friends. I'm so good at giving them all the advice and all of the encouragement. I have friends that have back surgery and broken wrists and, a recent shoulder tear and torn ACLs, Robin. And, and I can tell them and I know with Stacy recently too, I'm like, cut yourself some slack. You're not at your top of your game. Your body is telling you that it can't do the things. And when you're in pain, you mentally can't do the things you need to do. Yeah. And so when we come to handling our dogs, even when I'm not working out, then the muscles that I'm supposed to have to hold all the ligaments and things in place that are stretched and torn, well, they start hurting more and I don't want to work out more. And then when I'm in more pain, I don't have the mental capacity to be with my dog the way I want to be. Right. And it's this big cycle that just keeps going through. And I can tell my friends, quit being so hard on yourself. You're going through all this, but sometimes it's hard to turn that back around to yourself.
And it's frustrating when you have the desire, but the body says, nope.
Yeah. And you do you lose that muscle memory. That was something you said in the webinar too, that I love hiking. That's one of my favorite cross-training things to do to stay in shape. I love hiking, just jumping over branches. And, as a kid, especially, man, I would do stupid stuff like jumping off logs and, it's way different now. And it's like my body has forgotten some of the things that I used to be able to do. And so I liked that reminder. I'm not the ninja warrior that my brain thinks I am.
How many times has that happened? Oh, I can do that. Oh, wow. That's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it resulted in a broken leg and a bruised kidney, No lie.
There's a story there. Actually, I know there's a story there. I don't know there's a story there.
And that's just hiking with my dogs.
I know, right? Yeah. Hashtag high drive human.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like I can relate with my dogs. But again, that's where I really am beating myself up lately, that it's how would I ever get to this point that I'd have to beg myself to work out? Never in a million years did I ever see that becoming who I would be.
Yeah.
So it's great to have the support of people like you, Liz, to be out there to motivate us and to help remind us about caring for ourselves in a compassionate way and also in a physical way. And I'm motivated. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm
motivated. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that the quickest you can flip the script up for that whole conversation that you're having with yourself, the better. And when it comes up, like finding replacement words, replacement sentences, and actually, if you can have some kind of habit that you're working on, like you're balancing when you're cooking, or maybe, Crystal, you might add some stretches in every day, Crystal.
I hear you, question mark. I think you're cutting out. I think the network is cutting out. I can't hear.
The network out?
Oh, funny.
Stacy's having a heart attack over there. Oh my God. But when you're thinking to yourself, I never thought I would be this person, the quicker you can flip that and turn the conversation into, never thought I'd be this person, be like, nope, that's old news. Actually, I am working on it. And these are the things that I'm doing and I feel really good. And these are the things that I've noticed that are changing. And then, change the conversation in your head.
Yeah.
As quick as you can.
On your blog, it's a blog, right? Is that what you call it?
The website.
I do have a blog.
Yeah.
She has a website.
I have a website.
Yeah. And that's where you have a lot of your amazing stretches. And like you give so much away. And I know it's probably hard to kind of describe them over, voice kind of thing. Is there anything you can kind of describe for some of the listeners of exercises or stretches that are like your go-tos?
Especially if you have like common injuries, like, certain, like typical injuries that a dog sport person might have.
Yes. Well, yes, I do have a lot of stretches. And, I think it's important to be giving with information with people. And I think I actually want to help. So I'm happy that people are using that stuff. It's good. And yes, common injuries for sure. So people that we'll talk about big dogs because we all have big dogs, a lot of shoulder stuff going on. So I love this T-spine stretch that I have. Stacy, that's the one that you were talking about earlier. It also...
That's my favorite.
I know, me too. It's so good. That one also is amazing for your back, your lower back, believe it or not, and also is really good for building some slack in your body and, bigger movement options when you're tugging. So you would lie on your side and kind of pin your top leg onto a pillow or a ruler, and then the top arm rolls over to the side. So eventually your hips will be stacked up facing a wall and your shoulders will be facing the ceiling eventually when your mobility is excellent. That is a stretch that I really love for handlers. And I also really love stretching hamstrings and stretching the front line of the hip or the quads, depending on where people are tight.
Okay, I have to go back. T1.
Yeah,
I'm imagining it. Let me imagine it again. So my shoulders are flat on the floor. Are my arms out to my sides, making it like a T? So are they straight out, or where are my arms?
Kind of.
So you start on your side.
Okay, imagine you start on. Do you want to explain it, Stacy?
Yeah, I can totally explain it because this is my favorite. Okay.
Yay!
And then you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, this is good. Pop quiz.
Yeah.
I know this is a pop quiz, right? So let's say you're laying on your left side. Okay.
Okay, left side. I'm there.
On your left side. And you have like a riser or something to like support your knee because you have your right leg is kind of
between
bent.
your knees.
Hold on a second. Okay. So you're going to take that right knee, you're going to bend your right knee and rest it on whatever kind of support you have. It just kind of supports you in line there.
Now, is your quad at 90 degrees to your body now, or is it?
I don't know the biology name. You've got your knee at a 90.
Yes.
Okay. So you're bringing it up like if you're doing a high step.
Yes.
Okay. That's 90.
So it's just being supported on that.
Okay. Got you. I'm visioning.
Like or whatever. I use like a yoga block on top of something else. Okay. And then you have your lower arm, which is your left arm, just kind of resting on that knee, keeping it kind of in place. Right. Okay. So that way that's pointed in one direction. And then you've got and we can put a link to your blog on this, of course.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think you probably have that. Then you take your right arm and you're stretching out and then you stretch it over your back. Right. So it's like it's opening up your chest.
Okay.
And then you kind of then come back and then you stretch it again. Am I explaining this correctly, Liz?
You're nailing it. You're hitting it home.
This is like, I don't know what I don't know the name of anything. When she says
glutes,
I know it's my butt, but that's about it. That's like the extent of my anatomical understanding. I'm like, glutes, got it. But yeah. She's like, tighten your glutes. I'm like, tighten my butt. But that's like about it,
So when you're doing this, is it about tightening anything or is it about relaxing everything?
It's just stretching. Okay. And you just feel this stretch up your side. And it's just like this opening. And just when you start to breathe, all of a sudden you just start relaxing. And you just kind of like your arm is almost like a stretch, like an arc, like it lifts and then it goes behind you. And it's this beautiful, wonderful stretch. And you just go, oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to ask something on that because for people that have chronic injuries, it's really hard for us, or chronic ailments like invisible diseases. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for us to relax. We're so guarded and we've been so tense for so long. Is there like a certain amount of time to just lay there and try to let the relaxation happen? Do you have mental exercises for that? Or how do you coach people through that of just when they're overly protecting their body all the time? Not that I'm asking for myself because I am. I think somebody else there can probably relate,
I mean, I also have chronic illnesses and I also have injuries. So this is something that I deal with too. And the way that I've found that works the best is ask people to do less. And I think that that's an unusual thing for someone in my field to be saying. Okay. But I find that it works really well. So this is kind of the dance. You do less. So if you're thinking that a stretch should be, and Stacy, we talk about this with your band stuff too. So if there's like 0 to 100 and you think that maybe you watch a video or you see me demo a stretch, like I have very good mobility. It should, quote, should look this way. Pushing your body into that is not going to feel good. You won't be able to relax. So my advice to do less is like, what would 30% look like? Could you convince your brain that you don't need to be so guarded if you did less and it wasn't painful? And if that's the case, yes, then, I'm always thinking about what part of this are we working on? Are we working on their ability to trust their body, or are we working on the actual physical thing? And so in that case, it would be more like, let's do less and let your body relax and let you learn to trust your body and you learn what ranges are comfortable for you or what not. And then you can work into it from there. But starting with a little bit less is totally fine.
I love that so much because that's so against my nature. I'm like all in when I start.
It's against everyone's nature.
I am all in. Let's go Malinois.
No. Liz has never said to me so far. I don't think she will though. No pain, no gain. I have not heard that phrase.
That's because I haven't ever said that phrase.
See?
Yeah.
See? Yeah. I don't know if it's coming or not. I'm thinking probably not. But...
No, it's not coming for you.
I'm just checking. I just want to couch that a little.
No, I feel like it should be no pain, we're winning. Can we make that a slogan?
I like that.
I feel like that's a better slogan for us.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm thinking too, I've always pushed myself pretty hard. And so I try to find mental games to try to make myself relax so that I can go longer. So even when I'm trying to run or trying to do something, if I take my brain to somewhere else, so I'll do math because math is hard for my brain. So it's 4 times 4 and then 16 times 16. And then, and I keep doing that. And I'm like, okay, I'm so lost in my numbers. And then all of a sudden I'm not thinking about my body. But what I don't like about that is that I'm not thinking about my body. Right. And when it comes to working out and stretching, I need to be aware of my body. So it's,
Yeah. See, it's complex.
Now running though. Yeah. And so I love your philosophy of don't do it when it hurts and just do less. It's less is more. Just like dog training.
Well, what if you have bad knees or something where it's kind of like your part of your support structure, and it's joint, are there things that you can do for that?
Yeah.
Not that we're a good friend of ours, Robin. Sorry, that was supposed to be anonymous, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's not anonymous because it's very common. This is a very common injury. I would say tennis players I've worked with and dog handlers are the people, but dog handlers definitely have more knee injuries than any other group of people. And there's a lot that you can do. And it depends a lot on really what the injury is. So some things really are, needing medical intervention. You can get hyaluronic acid injections or steroids or, physical therapy to work on those things. And when I'm working with people that have knees that are compromised, I'm always thinking about this through the lens of you're going to use your knees when you're out playing agility or when you're out doing your bite sport. So could that be the space and time where your knees are being asked to do the things that are painful for them? Mm-hmm. And could the rest of the time that we're doing stuff with your lower body be comfortable? And that looks like, wall sits and glute bridges and a lot of lateral stuff with bands and building a lot of glute strength. There's also this component of building really strong and responsive core strength too, because the knees are, a joint that doesn't have, the hips really do most of the control work for your knees. So when people have functioning hips in terms of good mobility and strength, in their glutes and, proper tension front to back and side to side and all of that kind of stuff, and a responsive abdomen, the knees they have less slack to take up because the other parts of the body are doing their job better. So that's how I work through things with people that have bad knees. Did that all make sense?
It did. I love it. It's kind of reminds me on a weird tangent of when people say, I want to have, like I want my stomach to look leaner. You can't just lose fat on your stomach. Yeah. It has to be from everywhere. And so it's that same kind of idea that it can't just be that area, but everything is connected and you have to work on all parts of you.
You know what's also kind of nice about that, going back to your knees being sore, is if people's knees really are sore, that when they go do their workout, if the rest of it is motivating and also, exciting, because their knees will be less uncomfortable, they'll be more comfortable for them. So not only is the workout reinforcing because they're not getting hurt while they're doing the thing, but they're also seeing progress in their bodies later. And I love that because they can do their sport better and more comfortable, and they didn't get hurt on my watch. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about keeping everybody healthy for their dogs and for themselves, for sure.
Yeah.
I know like from my perspective, it's kind of like the exercises, I have a bad back, we're not using back muscles, we're using everything else that supports it. And so I don't feel the pain in my back when I'm doing it. So then I feel like that part's not holding me back. So I can get more motivated, and once I get stronger, then it's easier. And
exactly. It's exactly that way. I can't wait to see you run agility fast.
I do feel like we focus so much on our canine conditioning, but we don't focus on our handler conditioning. And I love that you're bringing that, and that we need that. And that's such a powerful thing. And what I'm most inspired by is your passion to help, and that you are just so giving, and that you can just tell that your spirit is all about helping everybody do better by themselves and their dogs.
I really am here for that.
You are. I love it.
So we've talked a lot about like other different parts of our body and everything. And a lot of us do have large dogs. The other thing is that our listeners come from all kinds of directions, right? We do have bite sport people. We do have, we have a lot of nosework people, lots of nosework people. We've got search and rescue people. We've got some professional handlers, like detection handlers. We've got all kinds of people listening. And a lot of us have large dogs. Some of us don't, but we're all kind of, but we're trying to just kind of do the best that we can for our dogs. But we've talked a lot about kind of like the around our back and our knees and stuff like that. What about like upper body? Like, I'm kind of picturing like we've got to have kind of like the whole picture, right? If we want to really try to do well by our dogs. I'm also kind of picturing getting my dogs to the start line. I'm trialing Prize at Elite for the first time this coming weekend. And I'm like, what about upper body strength?
And you say that, and I think about with search and rescue, we have to be able to pick up our dogs and shoulder carry them.
You've got to be able to carry your dogs if something happens.
So I've got to have a 70-pound Dutchie on my shoulder in an emergency. So that's,
Yeah.
That's not a small thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's search and rescue world, but
yeah.
So would you like to know about some of the exercises or that I like for people that handle large dogs?
Sure.
Yeah, I would say mobility exercises. What are your maybe top 2 or 3?
Okay. So with people with big dogs, upper body mobility is important. However, the most important thing for preventing upper body injuries from the people that I've worked with and what I see happening is like making sure that they are able to fire the muscles between their shoulder blades. And, so can you squeeze your shoulder blades together and pretend that there's a pencil there? Can you hold that engagement for a while? And actually, for a lot of people, that's really hard.
Yeah.
So can you do that?
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I know, when she can see me on the screen, she's like, you're doing it.
And, this foundation piece is really important. Like, can you put your arm down by your side and fire your lats? Can you do that when your arm's out to the side? Can you do it while you're raising your arm and firing? Just learning how to actually use your brain to use the muscles is a piece that gets missed a lot. But all of my strength training courses have a full week where they it's not only foundations, but that's definitely one component of it, where they run through drills. Can you fire your glutes? Can you fire your abdomen when you're doing this thing, and so on? And in saying all of that, for people that handle big dogs, being able to have very strong back is really, really, really important. So that would be my number one thing for people, and shoulders. And, shoulders get kind of sore for people. So if overhead presses are hurting you, you can also raise them up to the front and work on your shoulders that way. So there are options if you are looking for strengthening it and you're working around injuries. Like, there are options. So keep asking questions and you'll find an answer.
So you were mentioning, like, it sounded like you were talking about things with hand weights or something. If you had to pick some kind of equipment that people should probably have, if they're going to start
one thing.
Yes, one thing. If they're going to start their exercise journey, if there's one thing that they should have, what would it be?
A dog.
Oh, this is so hard.
That is like a
puppy. You should just go get a puppy.
Everybody go get puppies. We told you it's mandated.
I would choose hand weights.
Yeah.
I would choose hand weights over bands for sure. I think actually loading people with weight is important when you're building strength, and it's different than bands. And when you were saying about the back, I actually was picturing those band rows that you do, because you have this really great and inexpensive band set. Mm-hmm. So I was picturing that. However, you can replicate that with dumbbells too. And dumbbells would definitely be my number one pick for people to get into it. However, they're not free,
Right.
So you can get those on Facebook Marketplace, or there's a website called Keepa that you can order discounted stuff off Amazon. So that would be my pick.
And here, I'm willing to buy stuff for my dogs. And so because I'm willing to buy stuff for my dogs, then I use their stuff. So I'll buy balance discs for them. And so I'll use those.
It's funny. We're doing our Facebook Live, and she's like, do you have a Kato board? I'm like, let's get a couple.
Yeah. Got a Kato board and a table, and we just use our dog equipment.
So on the hand weights, like what,
it works.
Like what weight increments would you suggest?
Oh, thanks, Stacy. 5 and 10 and 15 are the weights that I suggest people start with.
Perfect.
You grow into them fairly quickly. When people are first starting strength training, the first 8 to 12 weeks, the neuromuscular connections really get a lot stronger, and control goes up. And so the strength improves really rapidly. So having something to grow into is motivating and exciting. So those would be my 3 weights that I would pick for people.
Awesome.
All right, Liz, we're at the end of our time, and here's what we do to people. We ask you for takeaways.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So what we want you to do is think about, from everything you've shared, because you've shared so much, what is the highlights you want people to keep in their brains once they leave today? And it's going to be the thing they remember. And if you want us to go first, we can.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you girls go first. Let me think about it.
Stacy loves going first.
I love going first. Well, I go first, and then Crystal usually comes up with something really amazing, and I just go, yeah.
I've already said mine, so.
Okay. My takeaway is start little. Like, it doesn't have to be some huge insurmountable thing. And I love the fact that, it doesn't have to hurt. Work within, what is comfortable for you. And that being comfortable and getting stronger is actually motivating. And then that motivation can help you when you start to see that progress. It just kind of helps to make more motivation, and it helps to get that habit going. And I love that, I've never heard that phrase from you, no pain, no gain. It's like, that's not in the vernacular. And it's just like, it's within your comfort zone, and you just get stronger that way. That's my huge takeaway, and I love it.
I love that.
So I've already shared a bunch. So I'm going to do something different. Mine's going to be when the very beginning, I'm hearing you talk about how you're a gold medalist and you are just a badass, like, whoa. And you said that you thought you were prepared for handling this big dog, but you were not prepared for the dynamic movements of the dog pulling. And if you, as this amazing, muscular, fit human, recognized that, whoa, I'm not even prepared for this. Okay, the rest of us feeble people are not prepared. And we need to think about it. We need to have that guidance and be more aware of the demands of dogs, and especially the large dogs and the working dogs that we have, and the toll it takes on our body, and not to disregard that because we only have these bodies for so long, and we want to be able to keep being supportive of our dogs and do the things we love.
Good one.
Your turn.
Okay. My takeaway would be that taking care of yourself in this form does not need to be a huge investment of time. And, 3 minutes of stretching a day adds up. 2 20-minute weight training sessions a week will make a massive difference in how you feel. And it seems like it's not enough, but it is. And in a dog training equivalent, Stacy, I'm taking your amazing nose work class through Fenzi right now. And you're asking me for 5 reps. Go do 5 reps.
Yep.
Okay. It seems like, okay, well, maybe I should have a longer training. Nope, that's what Stacy said, 5 reps. So that's all I'm doing. And I think people could kind of give themselves that same amount of, grace, and just, it's within your reach. It is not insurmountable. It doesn't need to hurt. It doesn't need to take your whole life. It doesn't need to be who you are. It can just be a way that you take care of yourself. And so you can keep doing the things that you love, would be my takeaway.
Love it.
I love it.
Love it.
So Liz, you're amazing. And thank you so much for spending all of this time with us and sharing with our listeners. And we're going to link all of your socials and your website and your webinars and all the amazing things you're out there sharing in the show notes. And we'll also put it on our social media so people can find you. And we just want to thank everybody for listening and joining us today, and be kind to yourselves. Start small. Take the advice, something small, add something small and share it with us. And we'll make sure we tag Liz so that way she can see the ripples that she's made by spending the time with you now. And let's all work together and collaborate. So from the Canine Detection Collaborative, thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.
Canine Detection Collaborative! We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to K9DetectionCollaborative.com. That's K9Detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.